Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Chart Request Live. We do this show twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, right here on Stock Market TV, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Joined today, as always, by Patrick Dunawilla of the Chart Report. How you doing, buddy?
Stevie, how you doing?
I'm good, man. All-time highs are good for me, you know?
And how about that with a breakaway gap nonetheless?
Yeah, love to see it. You love to see it. However, at this point, I know everybody's just getting bulled up now here today. We're on an 11-day win streak.
For SPY, yeah. The index had a couple negligible down days, pretty much flat.
Point
But yeah, for
remains.
SPY, for sure.
Point remains. We've been moving steadily higher for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So is today, right here, right now, the best place to enter a new long?
Probably not.
Longer term time frame people, you're fine, right? But I think this is heavy traders. This show, our audience is probably heavy traders. I think anything short term tactical, probably not getting excuse me, an optimal entry here today,
Right.
coming off of this win streak. I am closing a lot of trades today. I am putting things on watch lists today.
And it's the day for that to trim. But like you said, it's really tough to put on new positions at this point.
Patrick,
Yeah.
bull golfers.
Oh boy.
Do you see this bull golfer yesterday in Solana?
I didn't notice it. I did buy some Solana this weekend. It held up. It didn't break out to an all-time high like Ethereum and Bitcoin, but held that level really well.
So check this out. I'm just drawing a range at these real bodies. You also have, that's the anchored VWAP in blue coming in from
Oh,
the
okay.
year-to-date highs. We more or less engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 trading days. And one day, Solana having one of its best days of the year here. Sure, reversing here intraday today. Let's see how we finish up. Really would like to see, as a bull, would really like to see a green candle today, right? Some follow through, confirming this monster bull golfer from yesterday. But the point remains, we're breaking through this AVWAP drawn at the year-to-date highs. And I think as we start to see more of this in crypto, because Bitcoin's doing the same, let's look at what Bitcoin looks like. Just clean this up. So I got the VWAPs coming from the March and April pivot highs here, right? We are clearing VWAPs from the year-to-date highs in cryptos, just like we're doing in the equities market. Next leg is underway. So
Yeah, I mean that's really the last VWAP to clear. Once you clear that all-time high one, it's
we're
really
above
not
all the
left.
others. That's
Yeah.
right. All right. What do we got?
Let's start off with Carlisle Group. This one comes from Joseph in the
Love it.
mailbag. We got a pretty light mailbag today, so we'll actually get to look at some of the ones in the chat for once.
Carlisle Group, city people doing city things, a lot of real estate, a lot of private equity. These formations, right, more often than not, aren't what they look like in bull markets.
Looked like a clean breakdown for a few days, but not the last two.
You see where I'm going with this, though? This is a failed breakie.
Yeah.
And now we're going. How do we get confirmation for these sorts of setups coming off a corrective wave? You whop it out. You whop it out, right? So that'll be your confirmation. You could do this in a number of different ways. Sorry. But there you are, right? So for Carlisle, the reversal's already in. Let's zoom out on the charts to make that clear, right? We're just marking up this little short-term failed top here. I think it's go time. I think you get confirmation on the VWAP recapture. But from a primary trend standpoint, it's been go time. So this is one that I'm long. I'm very bullish on the entire private equity space. Carlisle Group, one of my favorites, but also, Apollo is solid, KKR, Blackstone. These should all more or less move together, give you the same sort of return profile. They're interest rate sensitive, but this is the primary trend reversal, right? And then
Yep.
you're just trading continuation patterns after the primary trend reverses. And I think this is one of them. Some of the best continuation patterns are the tops that end up not being tops.
Right.
So I think, I gave you a couple levels here, right? You have the neckline around 43, and then you got a VWAP range coming in from about 43.70 to 45. That's it. And then you'll get ultimate confirmation at fresh highs here above the pivot highs from Q1.
And where are you playing it to? You looking for all-time highs or
We're going back.
going all the way?
See.
I like it. Go big or go home, right? Might as well.
Because at this point in the cycle, right, we've seen so many charts that, I mean, let's just look at the sector, right? So Carlyle Group, it's a financial. They're back there, right? So if I'm getting long a financial stock, I want to get back to those prior cycle highs as well. And then some. And that's the setup. That's the case with Carlyle Group. Also, shout out XLF.
Oh my gosh.
New all-time highs, beautiful breakout. This is a pond we want to be fishing in. Big time.
Yeah, and when was the last time we could really say that? When was the last time we had financial leadership like this?
It's
I can't remember.
Listen, I've never owned the big banks in my long-term account. I now own just about all of them. Right? Like I'm in. I'm so in. So for me, it's been more than 10 years.
How you been feeling about the regionals the last couple weeks?
I got to see it, but I think they do play catch up. I'm in Truist. I'm in MTB. Need more from these guys, though, right? Like this is Truist. Looks good, but look at Morgan Stanley, right? Like you're getting beta with the big guys, not the regional. Right. I think that changes, and I think it's going to really, really depend on interest rates. But KRE not even back above the December highs yet, right?
Yeah.
And then this is the big banks, KBE. Notice how it looks different, back above those December.
It's a little better.
Yeah. So for now, we favor the big banks. I think that will change as we move forward and the cycle kind of rages on.
All right, so we just got a couple more in the chat. Let's do ERJ. This one's from Wavy. Been long ERJ, and that's Embraer, since August 2022.
All right,
I want to sell because it doesn't pay a dividend, and it's been a winner, but it just broke out of out of trend line resistance. Hold or sell? Hold or sell?
What's his time frame?
Time frame? I don't think is mentioned here.
So it's been winner.
He's been holding it since August 2022. Yeah. Hold or sell because it broke the trend line resistance there. ERJ.
I don't see it breaking trend line resistance. Oh, something like this. So I don't know how he's drawing this.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean he does like his long-term charts. So
he's drawing it like that. Here's what I say about this trend line. It's more or less meaningless. It's just a diagonal line on the screen right now. But there's no price memory here. There's nothing special about it, right? The trend has been higher for this name. It didn't just start. Didn't just shift higher on this trend line break. I think if you're in this since, like you said, August 2022, great trade. You want to keep it really tight, and I would use a VWAP to do that. I think you could use this pivot high. I think you could use this pivot low. But you want some sort of, you know what? I don't want it back below these pivot highs, period. And if you want to get out of it, just sell it here. Good trade. I think it's a little overheated over the super short term. After two candles like these past 2 days, 3 days now.
Might as well. I mean, there's plenty of fresh opportunities out there, right?
Yeah. So this is an airline operator, or I'm sorry, an aircraft manufacturer. Embraer.
Do you think they're catching a bid because of what's going on in Boeing?
I think it's hard. It's hard to play that game. Probably.
I mean, yeah, it's always a dangerous question to ask why price is doing what it's doing, right? But
you want to be careful with Boeing because this company has more than 9 lives. They're embedded with the U.S. government. if you asked me years ago, hey, if Boeing's planes start crashing, are they going to make it? I would say absolutely not. But because of their tight relationship with our government, they're like a protected company. So I think that's a tough bet to even bet against them with how bad they are. Because at a certain point, it's like they could do all this and still get away with it, right? Like that's not a company I want to bet against.
That might be quote of the day right there. But Boeing has more than 9 lives. I like that.
And screw Boeing for stealing my peace of mind when I'm on airplanes now.
It's like, oh God, this is it.
And enjoy my scotch anymore. I got to sit there and be like, God, I hope I'm on one of the good ones.
Oh man. Let's move on to PSTG. That is Pure Storage Inc.
Software.
Yeah, at first I thought it might be a REIT, storage, but
PSA is the REIT, right? Public
yep,
storage.
yep.
So this is a leader for
$19
sure.
billion. That's not
How much?
$19 billion market cap.
Great chart, man.
2 million average daily volume.
I mean, this looks really fantastic.
And in multiple time frames too. That's if you drop it down to a daily, it looks great there. Three-month time frame. Okay, yeah, so he's probably trading off the daily.
I mean, either way.
But this is important. You got to start with this. You got a
level here around 59. Oh, you could just use the pivot highs, flip it back to a daily. Here's the situation. We're above any VWAP. All right. Buyers are in control on any time frame. This was a coil.
Yeah, you have a nice little 2-month consolidation there.
This coil just resolved higher. The way we would do this is you just measure it out, right? So this is a bull flag, bull pennant, whatever. Take the pole. Pole's about 85%, 25 points. I prefer to use points than percent. So I'll just tack on, it's really 26, but say tack on 25 points to the breakout level. We'll just round up. Say it's 60, 85.
Now zoom out. Let's see if that lines up with that fib.
Not quite. Close though.
You're also doing cocktail napkin math over there.
Yeah, it's really 86, I guess. Use 58. That's how you would do this on a short-term continuation pattern. You measure the automatic advance into the coil and then simply tack that onto the upper bounds of the coil or the peak of the coil. How'd I do?
You did great. So we finished the mailbag. I'm going to throw you a bone.
Throw me a bone.
We're going to get to all the ones in the chat here. But let's look at HUYA.
Ooh, yeah.
What a crazy chart.
I'm all bulled up.
Look at the last week in daily candles.
I mean,
you gapped lower.
Earnings. This is the kind of earnings reaction I want. Hold on. Let me just ping the analyst team here and say, make sure Booyah is on our earnings list. Pat, we got a really cool new.
I learned this from Kenny Glick back in the day. These earnings reversals. When something gaps lower like that on earnings and then rips higher intraday.
Love to see
that can carry through for a few days, and that's exactly what is happening here.
Absolutely. This is so good. Yeah. So the earnings was May 13th, just a couple days ago, Monday, I guess, or Tuesday. Look at this.
Down like 12%.
So let's mark it up. This was one place that we could have got involved in. All right, I got long here. I'm going to finish my position here.
Dude, yeah, it gapped down 22%, but it's up like 44% from there.
Right.
I'm sorry, it gapped down 12%, it's up 44%.
I mean, that's killer action. That's like such a sweet earnings reaction. Take this all the way back to IPO day high. Yeah, so we got time there. The reverse.
This is such a clean one.
The reversal is in above 630. right? So as good as this one's been, this is not a completed trend reversal yet. We're right there. I think we get it done. I'll finish my position when we do, but it's a little overheated for now. Talking about this price action from the past couple of days, RSI 14 up here in the mid 70s, right? You can see the rate of change, not blowing out, but a nice high reading. Be patient with this one. Put it on a list. Buy strength above 6.25, right? If and when we get it, and then I think from there, you can go crazy. You got these highs all the way back here around 34, 5 or 6x, right? So if you want a more practical, shorter term price target, measure out the base, right? So this base, say 150 to 650, again, back of the napkin stuff. Sorry, Pat. Tack $5.
No, I like the back of the napkin stuff. It's good.
Tack $5 onto the breakout level. Here's the thing why I'm not calculating these measured moves to the penny, because it doesn't matter, right? This is ballpark stuff. I wish I could stand here and tell you, man, technical analysis is such a cheat code. I can measure out a base. I know exactly where the stock is going. It's going to hit my price target to the penny. No, your price target should be 10, 11, right? Not $10.77. 10, 11 bucks. That's how we should talk about price targets, like zone, right? Yep. So measure out the base, 6, tack on 5. You're coming in around 11. There you go. We have some action over here around 10, 11 bucks from 2021. That's it. Nice trade. It's a great base.
So let's get to the chat. This one's from Viper. Let's check in on Uber. Uber is looking to rebound. What do you think?
They tell me I can't sell puts in Uber, and I'm really disappointed. Sean and JC are saying, you're crazy. Don't sell puts in Uber. You're not getting paid enough. Volatility's too low. I understand that, and I respect their opinions. And
where would you sell it at? Like 60?
Like right here, dude, because this has worked over and over and over again over the past month. These strong leadership stocks that have already made new all-time highs, or at least taken out their prior cycle highs, shown here on the left-hand side of the screen for Uber. Hard throwbacks, right? So this was, let's just show exactly what we're talking about. This was big time resistance.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And we came up and we tested it back in December. We got rejected a little bit, and then we blasted on through, and then we hard retested right back to it. Right? I can show you this chart everywhere. You want me to do it? And I'll show you back to them. Watch. Here's CrowdStrike. It's the same chart. Look at what happened. Prior cycle highs. We dug in. We rebound. Bulls are back in control. Look at ServiceNow.
Oh yeah, ServiceNow.
Hard retest. We dig in. We rebound. Bulls are back in control. Look at CrowdStrike. Did I just do CrowdStrike? Yeah. Sorry. Look at ASML.
We were talking about how Duolingo was kind of like this, but that one's looking a little messier, right?
So if all these look like this, and there are more, why shouldn't I sell puts in Uber when it looks like this? Uber's going to look different than all those other market leaders? I don't think so. They just had a great earnings report too. So I love to sell puts. We're looking into getting into the Delta 25 calls. We're long the common, very long the common, been long the common since this base reversed back here in the 30s. And I think this is just, we're going to look back and say, wow, what a gift. What a nice entry that was for Uber. Let's just point out what I mean. From the March highs, we're down more than 20%. Bear market, according to some people, bear market for Uber. It's a bear market I want to be buying hand over fist. So I think Uber right here, 64. We talked about this on the morning show this morning. I think it's great. Go back and listen to it. But I was actually talking about you, Patrick. I was saying, Patrick bought Solana against 120. And that's what you were doing. You were doing this. You were buying back against former resistance, making the bet that it turned into support. It worked. Another way to do it is drop a VWAP from the pivot highs and say, use that as your entry, right? So for Uber, you could enter here, right? But really not entering on really any strength at all. You're just buying weakness. So it's lower probability, right? That you don't get stopped out, but it's the best entry. In the case that you are right, you're going to have the highest reward profile, right? If you enter down here at 64.50. Another way to do it is to say, okay, when we reclaim VWAP from the pivot highs, I'm going to enter there. For Uber, that's like $72, right? So think about it. The entry is going to be $8 higher. That's $8 less that you're going to make when you finally sell. Another way you could do, if you want to be super conservative, right? And this is for, like, we talk about, like JC, he has kids, right? He does things more conservatively than us, right? So he might want to wait till like 81 and a quarter, that ultimate confirmation. But we have price memory right now to help us kind of navigate how we get into these new longs, because we've corrected for the past few months. You know, many of these things look like Uber. They've pulled back. So we have these different price levels that we could use to scale in or to enter more aggressively or more conservatively in the case of the pivot highs versus buying the prior cycle highs. And then that can help us, right? And we could scale in. So let's use this to our advantage. I think we're going to look back and say, wow, what phenomenal entries we got in the second quarter of last year.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you there, Tim.
We'll say that next year about this year. All right.
Let's go on to Freshpet, FRPT.
All of these pet stocks are so heavily shorted. I wonder if this one's any different. Is this one big enough for me to even talk about?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it is.
Oh,
yeah. It showed up on my scan a few times.
Wow.
I'll check out short interest.
Yeah, can you? Because like Woof has a huge short interest, Chewy, Trupanion. It's like all of these pet stocks, which, by the way, I'm uber bullish.
12%.
Pets are a mega trend. Your dog is your best friend.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she's like my child.
That's right. Right. And you spend way too much money on her. Right?
Probably, yeah.
Me too. My cats are so spoiled. They got like the cat water fountain, like the automatic food feeder. Their kitty litter is like a fucking robot that like cleans itself. They got this giant cat tower. These things cost hundreds of dollars. Mega trends. People are crazy about their pets. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the pet wellness space, pet retail space.
So 12%. What do you think of that? Short interest?
Not much. That's either way, you got a nice base here. This chart looks a lot better than the other ones I was just naming. So let's just show it. The reversal is in. Boom. Right? Something like this. Bow. Let's fib it out, Pat. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew there'd be something there. Look at that. Okay. So we gapped through the 38%. Only took a couple of months. Now we're to the 62. And I think you gave Kenny a nice shout out the other day, right? Where he's like, 10 gets us 15.
Yeah.
15 gets us 20. Fibonacci's work even better in that way, right? 38%.
And of course, this is not always that straightforward. It's a good guide.
Right. With the fibs, what do we say? 38% tends to get you 62. 62 tends to get you 100. 100 tends to get you 161. Right?
Yeah.
And on and on. So I think from here, if we're above 128.50, this one couldn't be better defined here. So I love this. We also have this little top, which completed right here a couple years back, right, Pat? See?
Yeah, and we're coming into that.
Yeah, so this price memory is coming back.
Do you think that gap will be an issue?
I like how clean this is.
Do you think that gap will be an issue?
This one here?
No, from 2021.
This one. Hey, we'll find out when we get there.
We'll find out.
When we get there. But the point, the bigger point is there's price memory in this whole range here that we're still running into, right? So I like it. It's been strong, looks great. I think it does complete this base, but we are running into a zone of price memory here, right? Between the 62 retrace and the 100. I like it even more if and when we're above 186. But trade it back to 186 as long as we're above 128.5. This one looks really good, Pat.
I like it. So this one actually kind of looks similar. ALKT. Alchemy. This isn't Akamai. Is this different?
That's AKAM.
Yeah, this is ALKT. Alchemy.
Shout out to the chat. I love seeing this, guys. I love these patterns. You guys bring us such great charts, right? I could tell you guys are listening when we get a ticker request like this, right, Pat?
Yeah.
This is the chart that has made this a great bull cycle for us. This pattern, we've just gone back to it over and over and over again, trying to get them as fresh as they come, right? And being patient as they come out of these reversals, and then just running it back and getting long these short-term continuations along the way, right?
Yeah.
So you get long these short-term continuations. You could get some juice, trade them with calls, right? Maybe you buy the common on the base breakout, plan on owning that for a while, betting on the primary trend to just carrying on higher and then get out at the end of the cycle. And then one thing that we do is we get these short-term continuation patterns, and we know the primary trend is behind us and at our backs, and then we add kickers to our positions, right? And lever up with some long calls or whatever, buy some more when you're breaking out of a short-term continuation. And that's just a way to kind of juice your returns in a bull market, right?
Yeah.
So this is coming out of this continuation pattern right now. It's been sideways just about all year, right? We ramped up, had a good January, great November, December, and then sideways, digesting. So healthy.
And it's coming into all that overhead supply from right after it IPO'd there. So, it made sense that this would be where it based.
Yeah, so I could even go like this, right?
And by the way, Steve, this is it's a little bit financials and a little bit software. Kind of sits at an interesting
Is it financial software? Because these companies have been so good.
Yeah, provides digital banking software solutions to credit unions, banks, credit union service organizations, and service bureaus. The firm offers content management and online, banking.
What is it? Aspen, Pat? I know it's come up a lot, but AZPN is that way also, right? One of those software names. And bottom line, they're often very good stocks, or I guess good companies.
Ooh, that's cool.
ALKT, I don't even need to fib it out because my levels are very clear here. Yeah, see, I don't like where the fibs are coming in. I think if you're long against 2650, and you want all-time highs, right? You want a double. You want more or less a double back to 50, and that's it.
And I got to tell you, I like that AZPN even more.
Let's just show it quick. Let's just show it. It's a good niche, right? These financial software companies. It's a really nice niche. So here's Aspen, right? Absolute monster. It's been a great stock for a long time now. So ServiceNow
kind of fits into that bucket, but not really, I guess.
Dude, ServiceNow is one of my favorite long-term longs. I am so bullish ServiceNow. It's an AI play also. Big time.
So you ready to go on to ITA, Aerospace and Defense?
Yeah, I don't love talking about indexes on this show because it's boring, but ITA is a good one.
Well, ITA is an ETF.
It's an index.
It's an ETF.
Yeah. How are ETFs made? Indexes.
Yeah.
No, my point is that I prefer to keep it to individual stocks, but this is a good one. Look, we could fish in this pond. I think.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think most other groups within industrials are actually stronger, and I'll illustrate that in a second. But the bottom line is this, right? ITA above, I don't know, 119, 120.
And Steve, this one took forever to break out. I mean, this one, it was trying to break out for months, almost probably a year, right?
Yeah.
Under those pre-COVID highs.
Right here?
Yeah, because I remember every week I'd check on it and be like, this one looks like it's about to go. And every week it never went.
That's a great point.
Until it did.
So this was basically 2023 for this.
Yeah.
Just a range, right? And 2024 has been much better. You want to bet on that continuing? I don't have a problem with that. But I just want to show this first. It's ITA relative to its industrial sector peer group. That's not an uptrend.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not getting leadership, you're not getting relative strength, and you rarely ever do, by the way, from these aerospace and defense stocks, at least in recent history. So I don't love it from a leadership standpoint. There's better stuff within the industrial group.
So someone here is asking your thoughts on Amazon.
I love it. Let's go. All day. I don't know, 185 work?
Still people aren't talking about this one. It's what, the third largest company or
Great, more for us. This is such a good looking chart. Never broke out and retested like so many others, like we talked about at the top of the show, right? But that's fine. Amazon just kind of slow grind higher. I don't think this one's gonna change your life or help you retire early at this point, right? Just due to its sheer size and market cap. But long-term hold, throw this in the retirement account as long as we're above 187. Is there a more preferred way to just bet on the American consumer than Amazon? I'm serious. I think
I'll challenge you. How about Costco?
Hell yeah, same thing. New highs. Let's go.
I guess they're kind of competitors, so it's saying the same thing.
It's so good. Costco's so good. I hear you can order Costco on Uber Eats now. I mean, that's just so cool. We don't have one near me, but yeah, all day long Costco. When we talk about Costco, we tend to do this. This is a monthly. So just find a place to get involved, right?
Oh yeah, it rarely ever gives you a chance.
And then forget about it.
What is their dividend like? What do you think of it?
It's fine. And don't they pay a special every now and then? Here is a more fun idea than Costco. If you love Costco, you love the business model, right? And you think, wow, what a great company. I wish I owned it 10 years ago. This could be Costco 10 years ago. This is BJ.
I grew up going to BJ's.
Yeah, me too. So
I didn't have a Costco near us.
At 10 billion in market cap for BJ's compared to what, 200, 300 now for Costco? I mean,
Costco, it really is the same thing. Really
Costco,
is the same thing.
350 billion. So BJ's 135th the size.
Whoa.
Doesn't even pay a dividend yet. I think it probably will. BJ's Wholesale Club. It's the same exact model as Costco. But maybe you're getting in early.
Drop it down to like a weekly or a...
Looks great, dude. Look at this thing.
Hey. Wow.
This one's on my radar. It's written on my little handy list here. I am watching it. I'll probably be involved soon. It'll be more of a longer term thing. I'm not going to go trade BJ's Wholesale.
All right, BJ's is on your handy list.
Okay, Pat, move on.
Let's move on to Hood.
I told you what I did with this, right? I got no time for this in a bull market. Am I going to look back and kick myself that I stopped out of this? Highly doubt it.
And your point about there's just so much other stuff going on.
These guys came out, they beat earnings. It was actually an excellent report. Earnings coming into the quarter, the street estimates were about like 1 cent in EPS. They came in at like 20 cents, right? So it was a phenomenal quarter, far better than anyone was expecting for Robinhood coming into this year. And that's the reaction? What am I missing, right? When a stock comes out, crushes earnings, and that's how the market treats it, I don't need to be involved. I have a nice life. I don't need this, right? So I got in here, I got out here, maybe lost 10 cents, and that's it. I'm over Robinhood for now. If it's really for you and you feel super strongly, and you just love your Robinhood digital app so much, you have the VWAPs coming in here around 16, 17, right? So we got to be above there. The base is already in, right? We got the reversal. So as long as we're above 16, I think you could play it long.
I think that VWAP breakout is so important. And the hold.
It's holding it. So listen, this could have ended up a lot worse, right? But when you see a candle like that on earnings, and even the follow-through day that followed, that's been an ugly situation to be involved in, right? So like two candles like that, just kind of.
No, you did the right thing taking a loss there.
I'm not feeling,
even though it wasn't the right thing in hindsight, but that's the right thing. You followed your rules, that's
a lot of people like this fundamental story in Robinhood, and they think it's like gonna be like Coinbase, right? And that was my reason for buying it ahead of earnings. Thought, oh, they're going to crush earnings, right? Because Coinbase is a great read on Robinhood. Most of Robinhood's transaction fee revenue growth comes from crypto, right? So you can look at, oh, how did Coinbase do with their crypto trading?
Is that true?
Yeah, most of the growth. Yeah. So nice beat, but if you are owning Robinhood because you're hoping it's like Coinbase, I would really strongly urge you to just own Coinbase. Right? Like if that's your bull thesis, just go own the other one. Coinbase is 10 times better than Robinhood. Right? So Robinhood is trying to exist in an industry that it's really having a tough time existing in, while Coinbase is the industry leader in a new burgeoning industry, and everybody just wants to be them, right? Robinhood wants to be anybody but them in their industry. Very different situation. Coinbase isn't competing with Charles Schwab and Fidelity and Vanguard, right? So they have it far easier. Robinhood, they got to sit around and hope that their client book is worth something and that they can sell themselves to one of these big guys eventually, I think. So very different from a long-term standpoint.
So what do you think? Should we do like what, 2-3 more?
Let's do one more. Pick a winner.
Oof.
And then I'll take us out.
Let's look at STNG. The shippers have been really interesting.
Let's do it. I love these tankers. How's everybody in the chat doing today? We all making money out here? Are people happy in the chat? I would imagine people are feeling.
They're happy. I'd say they're happy.
Everybody making money? Let us know in the chat if you're making money. Wow, look at this chart. Bang, bang.
I don't know what's going on with those, but something's going on with these tankers. You look at the ETF boat. We were talking about that a few days ago.
Oh, you're right.
Terrible ETF. It trades like 3,000 shares a day, but
the momentum.
Right. And in terms of like getting information from it and looking at some of the components within it,
there could be a squeezy aspect to these stocks, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder what the short interests are. I haven't seen too many of them pop up on our scans. I'll take a look later. Anyway, the reversal's in. Where do we get long though? I don't know. I like it on weakness at this point.
Yeah, buying a pullback, right? It kind of goes back to what you were saying at the top of the show and how it's kind of a tricky spot to be initiating new longs here.
Yes, it's a great day for golf. Not the best day for entering new longs, I think. It's a great day for closing longs that you maybe got into a week or two ago. I think I would love a throwback to the 2023 highs. I don't know if you get it. 64 is kind of asking a lot. Even a throwback to this shelf
you
here.
Kind of already got it. You know, that's the thing is like, you want the train to keep coming back to the station? Probably not.
Oh, fair point. If it retests it again, I would be skeptical. So how about a throwback to these pivot highs then? 73? 73?
I like it.
But this oil looks to be going for now. And these guys are built a little bit differently. While other energy stocks have been struggling for the past few weeks as crude oil's just come off a bit.
That's a good point. Good point.
The tankers are simply charging a fee, right? And moving the oil and gas. They're not as tied to, or they're really not tied to the actual price of crude oil or gasoline, right?
Right.
They just want more of it to move around. Right?
Yeah.
All right. That's it, Pat.
I remember shippers used to be like kind of the last hurrah of like a bull, like a rally. When you saw the shippers start rallying, you knew it was probably getting long in the tooth, you know?
I mean, you could say that for all the junky stocks, and I hate to group things into junky stocks, but these traditionally are lower quality businesses, right?
Yeah.
And you could say that about a lot of commodity stocks, but there's a time and a place for everything. And boy, do I think this is going to be a good time for commodities into year end.
I like it.
I'm good, Pat. Are you good?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we'd gotten to a few more of these, but that's what next week is for. We got to figure out what we're going to be doing next week because we have the portfolio accelerator.
No shows.
No shows?
No shows. So we will be back, not next week, but the following Tuesday, which will be May 28th. We'll be back for our next edition of Chart Request Live. Until then, join us on the morning show tomorrow, but not next week. Stock Market TV will be quiet next week. We'll be playing a bunch of reruns and podcasts and interviews. We'll be back the following week. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you, as always, for making this show such a pleasure for Patrick and I. And Pat, looking forward to seeing you, buddy, in 2 days?
I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome time.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Cheers.